The hunting party had warned Dr. Sarah Chen about the Vakrin. Every species in the Galactic Coalition knew about them. Apex predators from a death world where gravity pulled twice as hard as Earth's, where the very air carried toxins that would kill most oxygen breathers within minutes. The Vakrin were massive, scaled creatures with razor-sharp claws and teeth designed to tear through armored prey. They hunted in packs, communicated through subsonic growls, and according to every xenobiologist in the sector, possessed virtually no capacity for empathy. They're pure instinct, Commander Thelos had said, his three eyes blinking in sequence. If you encounter one on Outpost Kepler 7, you run. You don't negotiate. You don't hesitate. Sarah had nodded, filed the information away, and continued her work studying the planet's unique ecosystem. She was a xenomedic, not a soldier. Her job was to understand, not to fear. The crash changed everything. Her survey shuttle had malfunctioned during a routine atmospheric scan, forcing an emergency landing in the planet's northern wastes. Sarah had survived with minor injuries, a dislocated shoulder that she'd grimly popped back into place, some cuts and bruises. Her pilot, Lieutenant Marks, hadn't been so lucky. The impact had killed him instantly. She'd been hiking toward the emergency beacon coordinates for 3 hours when she heard it, a high-pitched keening that cut through the howling wind. Not the deep subsonic rumble of an adult Vakrin, but something younger, higher, desperate. Sarah's training screamed at her to keep moving. Her humanity made her stop. The cub was trapped beneath a fallen rock formation, probably dislodged by the same seismic activity that had disrupted her shuttle's systems. It was smaller than she'd expected, only about the size of a large dog, but already its scales gleamed like polished obsidian, and its claws could easily disembowel her with a single swipe. Blood, dark purple and viscous, pooled beneath its hind leg. The limb was bent at an unnatural angle, clearly broken. The cub's golden eyes tracked her approach, and a warning growl rumbled from its throat, though pain made it weak, almost pathetic. "Easy," Sarah whispered. Though she knew it couldn't understand English, she kept her movements slow, her posture non-threatening. "I know you're scared. I know I'm scared too." The cub snapped at her when she got within range, its teeth clicking inches from her hand. Sarah didn't flinch. She'd worked with frightened animals before, albeit never ones that could kill her quite so efficiently. She assessed the situation with a clinician's eye. The rock pinning the cub weighed at least 300 pounds. Too heavy for her to lift, but the ground beneath was loose scree. If she could dig out enough space, create a gap. Sarah tore off her jacket sleeve without hesitation, the reinforced fabric ripping with a sharp sound. The cub flinched, growling again, but Sarah ignored it. She tied the fabric around the cub's snout, a temporary muzzle that would protect her from those teeth while she worked. "We heal or we don't leave," she said firmly, meeting those alien golden eyes. "That's the deal." The digging was brutal. Sarah's hands bled, her nails broke, and every muscle screamed in protest. The cub thrashed weakly, its struggles growing feebler as shock and blood loss took their toll. Sarah talked to it constantly, her voice a steady stream of reassurance even as her lungs burned in the thin, toxic atmosphere. When she finally freed the leg, Sarah didn't pause to celebrate. She splinted the limb using debris from her equipment pack and strips torn from her uniform. The cub had stopped growling, its breathing shallow and rapid. Going into shock, Sarah realized. She needed to stabilize it, keep it warm, prevent organ failure. She wrapped the cub in her thermal jacket, sacrificing her own protection against the elements. Then she activated her emergency beacon, knowing it would draw her own people, and potentially adult Vakrin. The rescue team found them 4 hours later. Dr. Sarah Chen, hypothermic and barely conscious, curled around a predator cub that should have killed her. Commander Thelos had stared in disbelief as his medics loaded both human and Vakrin onto the shuttle. "Why?" he'd asked, his translator struggling with his incredulous tone. "It would have torn you apart." Sarah, teeth chattering, managed a tired smile. "Maybe, but it was hurt and alone. What kind of monster would I be if I just walked away?" The cub survived. So did Sarah, though she spent 3 days in the medical bay recovering from exposure and a dozen other complications. The xenobiology team was baffled, not by the cub's recovery but by its behavior. It refused to eat unless Sarah was present. It became agitated when she left. It had, impossibly, imprinted on the human who'd saved its life. Word spread through the coalition. The Vakrin, Those emotionless killing machines sent an emissary to the station, an elder female, scarred and massive, who stood before Sarah and performed a gesture that translators identified as profound respect. "You saved blood of blood," the Vakrin communicated through a translation device, her subsonic voice making the deck plates vibrate. "You bled for pack, not pack. This is not forgotten." The treaty negotiations that followed reshaped the political landscape of 3 sectors. The Vakrin, it turned out, understood loyalty, sacrifice, and honor better than anyone had realized. They simply hadn't believed other species capable of the same. Sarah visited the cub, now named Kess by the Vakrin, regularly. Each time she remembered that moment in the wastes, when instinct had told her to run and humanity had told her to stay. "We heal or we don't leave," she whispered, scratching behind Kess's auditory ridges as the young Vakrin rumbled contentedly. "That's what makes us human." In the grand scheme of cosmic evolution, humans weren't the strongest or the fastest. They didn't have scales or claws or subsonic communication, but they had something rarer: the stubborn, irrational, beautiful refusal to abandon those who needed help, even when those who needed help had teeth designed to kill them. Especially then. End.